This is the Bamboo Bike Studio, where we make bikes out of bamboo.
This is actually where we teach people not only, about sort of what we do, but we teach them how to do everything that we do. We teach them how to build bikes out of bamboo. We teach them a lot of maintenance, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
So are you one of the founders of this place?
Yes, I am.
So you started in Brooklyn?
Yes.
So what's the story behind starting the store?
So I actually I was about to graduate from school, and I was looking for a company or an organization that was working with bicycles, humanitarianism, and environmentalism. I think I Google searched all those things and found the Bamboo Bike Project, which is a nonprofit based out of Columbia University.
Okay.
So I kept abreast with what they were doing and ran into one of their principal sponsors for the nonprofit, which is he's a professor at the nonprofit organization. And when I met him, I was like, hey, I can volunteer doing video editing and production and stuff like that. He's like, okay, cool, well, we have some footage. So I started out doing that, but then while I was doing that, the designer that was in charge of scaling up production and decreasing the price of the bicycles decided that it was impossible to do such a thing and left the organization. And then the other founders and I of the company, Bamboo Bike Studio, were like, well, we can take a look at it and try and get it to work, because they had obligations. They had made promises to people that they were going to make more bikes for less money. So they needed to figure out a solution. So that's when we were like, hey, we'll try. And after 2 years, we figured out how to make bikes for less money. And then after, I think it was 2.5 years, we finally went over to Ghana and trained up some builders. And that was in January. And since January, the builders that we trained up, they've built over 600 bikes, which actually makes them the leading producer of bamboo bikes in the world. And the bicycles are selling for $73 a piece.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's awesome to be part of that.
So New York and then Ghana and San Francisco, what's the impetus behind moving to those places out of New York?
Good question. New York and Ghana have a connection between the UN and the Columbia University. Ghana is like a testing bed for a lot of projects that the UN is trying to execute, and it's because Ghana is one of the most stable countries in Africa, so that's where they try out a lot of their stuff. And then the UN is close to Columbia, so the UN and Columbia work together on a lot of projects, whether it be around business, law, engineering, or other stuff. So.
And what is it about San Francisco that made y'all want to move here?
Actually, one of our co-founders was moving out here, so he started it.
So just him personally wanting to live on the West Coast, or?
Can you blame him? Yeah, no, I mean, he and his wife were moving out here, and so he wanted to get started. And more accurately, we were looking to expand to the West Coast, because we have a lot of people from around the country and from around the world who come to build with us. Actually, more people come from other places around the world than locally to build with us, which is kind of strange, but that's what it's been. So we're looking to get closer to other people.
It's a very different approach to a bike shop for a lot of different reasons, but the one that I really like is the idea that I'm not just going to be doing this work and saying, all right, they cost this much out of the story, but I really take a lot of pleasure in showing people this is how you do it and this is why you do it. And now, once you come back, it's kind of like now you have a flat tire and you can fix it yourself, and here are the tools, which is really interesting and it's really fun, and not exactly the most business savvy way to run a bike shop, but it's not just a bike shop.
So why is it important for you to teach people how to fix their own bike problems as opposed to just doing it for them?
Oh, well, so I can stop dealing with everyone else's problems. No, it's an interesting thing. It's it's good for people to know how to do certain things and be able to sustain their own, whatever it may be, their form of transportation. So if you can sustain it yourself, then that's kind of the whole idea in the first place. You want to sort of move into this, this activity, this pastime, or this mode of transportation, or for some of us as an occupation, it's a really cool way to be able to sit down and say that you are completely self-sustaining. I don't rely on a single thing, a single person, and to be able to share that's kind of cool, So it's nice. It's it's not something that's super important. It's not something that everybody cares about, but if you want it, it's available.